Vanderbilt stays undefeated as they beat the Tide 96 to 90 behind a monster effort from Tyler Tanner. I'm Subi. Alongside me is my guy J Man. As always, we are presented by Tinker Coffee. Use discount code SLEEPERS to receive 15% off of your first order. This game might have been on some Tinker Coffee as we had envisioned. It was like running on caffeine. J Man, 96 to 90, two great offenses that we saw. I don't know. I just like when I was watching that game, and maybe because he's top of mind, Jonathan Gannon, who just got fired, that ridiculous opening video when he got hired. He was like, pew, pew, shots, fireworks, shot, pew, pew. Like that's what watching this game kind of was. And I think we had envisioned that really. But I had tabbed this as the game of the night. Do you think it lived up to that billing?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's game of the night. I wrote a piece on Action Network to about I blindly was going to bet the over. I didn't care if it was going to be 180 points, which it was, and it was funny because Alabama went on like a 4 minute scoring drought late in the second half. They still scored 90 points. I mean, it was electric. It was crazy. I've never seen a floor that slippery in my life. I mean, I think the ball boys probably closed some rings going out there as consistently as they every possession they would go out there because people were doing splits from the first half and the second half. It was just a joke. I thought everybody just had like baby oil on, like everybody's just falling around and sliding around, and it was a mess. But it was an electric atmosphere. We'll get into Philly obviously leaving, but it was a great game and high 53-47 in the second half was insane, just insane offense.
Yeah, it's so much fun to watch. This is the type of or the brand of basketball that I think a lot of folks love to watch. I know, speaking personally for me, the exact type of brand that I love watching, like Bama getting their threes up for sure, and then Mark Byington running amazing offense, one of the best young offensive minds in the game. The broadcast had alluded to that as well on the court. I don't know. We talked about the court and its dimensions, I guess, but not dimensions. It's the same court, but the setup, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was slippery like
Yeah.
that, to be honest with you.
I didn't know it was slippery, and I didn't know I was going to watch like it was high scoring, and there it was a lot of fun. But my God, there was 88 free throws. I
Dude.
mean, everything was a foul, which was insane. Like, don't in this type of game, this is where you swallow your whistle. Nobody fouls out. Nobody should foul out. There's two fast-paced teams. Like, I just felt the refs, and obviously, Nate Oates let them have it as well. But and he rightfully so, and honestly, because you're ruining the flow of the game. And there were some calls that Vanderbilt was getting, like Tyler Tanner was doing a really good job getting in the paint, and he was getting fouled. But then Alabama, I felt like Aiden Holloway or their guards were getting to the rim, and it was kind of similar contact. And I'm like, all right, well, you got to call it both ways. And obviously, when you're the home team, you're going to get a more favorable whistle. But 50 free throws for Vanderbilt, 38 for Alabama, just crazy. Alabama shot 70 shots. I mean, it just a lot of offense, like insane to watch. But I just thought it was a ton of free throws.
Yeah, way too many. It's a preposterous amount, truly.
Yeah.
And you talk about ice bath games, right? Where I don't know, you think about the old Big East where it's knock down, drag them out. This is an ice bath game because the amount of shots that you're getting up, and not just shots in rhythm or within the offense, but literally at the free throw line too.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, 88 combined free throws is preposterous. But I, I just am, I continue to be amazed, J Man, at the efficiency from Vanderbilt and how fluid their offense really looks. And Bama's not some defensive juggernaut. I think we knew that. Vandy, I think, is a better defensive team, really, than Bama. And I think that was a key contributor as to why we both picked Vanderbilt to win this game. And that's why they ultimately did. But they shot 46% from the field, which is really impressive, but not that great by their standards. And
Yeah.
their standards are incredibly high. So I guess I'm curious to know. My biggest takeaway when I'm watching this game is like, okay, Bama couldn't frustrate them. What's the key to frustrating this Vanderbilt offense?
So that's a great question. I don't know for sure. They're undefeated for a reason because nobody can figure it out. They have good guard play. I mean, Duke Miles made his return. He had 17 of his 19 in the first half, and so he goes off for them in the first half. And Tyler Tanner did a really good job in the first half. I think he scored like all six of his points in the first couple minutes, it felt like, and then he had 23 in the second half. So it's just like, all right, Duke Miles, you take over first half. I got second half, and That's you can't stop that really. When your two guys are locked in like that, to go bucket for bucket, one's taking over one half, the other's doing the other. And then you have, oh, by the way, Tyler Nickel, who was only 1 of 4 from three in this game, who can light it up. It's just like this. You did a good job, Alabama, to stop Tyler Nickel from being effective from the 3-point line. He was only 1 of 4, and you lost in this game. Obviously, your best player was out for the second half, but that's just crazy to give up 96 points. Again, 50 free throw attempts, but Tyler Nickel only makes 1 3 and you give up 96. It's crazy. It really is. I thought Alabama played hard. It just one of those games where officiating kind of dictated the tempo for both teams, the way the games were going to be played.
Yeah, it's certainly a game that I want to see later down the road. I think I mentioned in the preview in the SEC tournament with everyone whole. Like these two teams are battling injuries, right? Like Frankie Collins not playing either, but I think that was coming into this game that was kind of expected. LeBaron Philon not, and that's LeBaron Philon, one of the best guards in the entire country for sure. But I thought Bama did do a good job of battling and fighting tooth and nail down to the end. And it's a credit to Coach Oates, who's
Oh,
marvelous, of course. I think, though, if we want to touch on that technical, right, that's kind of like that knife edge point. I think it was a 6 point game at that juncture with what, like 8.5 to go?
something, yeah, something around
Yeah.
there. It was like midway through, a little past midway in the second half.
And so Oates picks up a technical, which justified or not, whatever. But I'm sure part of him was also like Nate Oates is not silly. He's not a foolish coach in the sense that he's going to let his emotions get the best of him at any old time. It doesn't like that's what Bobby Hurley does. He doesn't care what time. Like he's a petulant child. But Coach Oates, I have a feeling, was number one pissed off, probably justifiably so a little bit. But number two, maybe that knife edge of hey, we're continuing to scrap and trying pull this game even. Maybe this will light an even bigger fire under my team's tail. Unfortunately for him, it backfired though because Vandy rattled off 5 straight. After that, in a close game like this, in a touch and go game like this, that could very well be the difference. You carry that momentum across the finish line, and I do think that's what we saw. Pivotal moment. J-Man was that technical.
Yeah, and honestly, I he must have said something really crazy because it was like he was on to the official, but it wasn't like he wasn't over exuberant about it, and he was walking away from the official. Normally, that's kind of like the thing is like a coach can say something to the ref, but if they're walking away, it's kind of like the unwritten rule. It's what I was told when I was coaching is if you say something, you just got to say it while you're walking away because it's like the eye contact is what's going to tee him up. And he said it and he walked away, but whatever he said was well deserved of technical, I guess. And then he kept going to where I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get on the court. And so I do think for your point of view too, or for your stance, like to try and rile the team up, say, all right, I got your guys' backs. It's kind of like when a manager gets ejected from a baseball game. It's all right, I'll argue balls and strikes, go win the game. And then it kind of immediately backfired, and Vanderbilt scored what 5, 6 straight points from the technical in the next possession. So it happens like that, unfortunately, sometimes.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily blame Oates, and I'm going to push back a little bit. I don't give college basketball refs enough grace where I'm going to be like, yeah, Oates definitely said something to warrant a tech.
True.
He might have just said something innocuous or nothing. Because actually, I'm erring on the side of that. Number one, because of college basketball officiating and aptitude. But number two, when he did get teed up, he was like, what? Like for
Yeah.
in this moment, you're going to tee me up. Emotions running high. But I thought that was a huge turning point in this basketball game. When you look at the breakdown, though, Jay, man, I thought a couple things really stood out, and I kind of love looking at these single digit conference games, and you're like, let's parse it back or let's peel back the onion a little bit. Not a lot of point production from Bama's bench.
Yeah.
I thought they were a little pedestrian there. London Jemison had 11 rebounds, though. That was really impressive. But also, I think more importantly, Vandy turned over Bama. Like they really got into passing lanes. They frustrated the hell out of them at times, and they scored 14 points off of turnovers. That's a massive stat and a contributing factor in a 6 point game where Bama honestly like it had an outside chance at the end, but it wasn't over till really the triple, the clock hit triple zeros, right? So, but Vandy turning them over and then capitalizing off of it. It's one thing to create those turnovers, it's another to actually make hay out of them. I thought that was huge.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think too, Alabama, when if they do get a rematch in the SEC tournament, like I wonder if they'll put on more pressure to Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt only had 8 turnovers, but it felt like 3 or 4 of those were in the last 2 minutes where Tyler Tanner, they had the 10-second violation when they put pressure on him. And then he kind of made that mistake where Tanner threw it underneath his own basket. Aiden Holloway got the steal and then went to the 3-point line. He missed the three. But when Alabama showed pressure against Vanderbilt, like they had 8 turnovers, but 3 or 4 were pivotal in the last couple minutes of the game. And granted, I wonder if Natos did not want to do that because I mean his guys were going down like flies. Like Philon missed the whole second half after the 16-minute mark. Guys were going down with cramps, pulling something. Allen hit the three and then slipped and hurt his groin as he's going to the ground. It's just like you couldn't get out of there healthy. It was almost kind of like, all right, we're gonna concede this game. We'll take this L. Stop having my guys get hurt on the floor because we're getting cramps. We're pulling ligaments on this when we slip. But I think if they play again, I'm going to call my shot now that Alabama will try and speed up Vanderbilt and put pressure on them because Vanderbilt didn't handle it well when it happened late in the second half.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen that with some Commodore teams, not just in the Byington era, but in previous eras. Of course, they were probably less equipped, right, to
Yeah,
handle that pressure under different coaches for sure.
yeah,
But it is something that you kind of see, especially at home, for some reason. They don't necessarily put you away, or we haven't become accustomed to Vandy just unequivocally putting quality teams away at home, especially. But another great game for the Vanderbilt offense. All five starters in double figures. It just continues to feed into this amazing offense that they have and what Byington's doing. So I thought that was crucial. And then how about Devin McLaughlin, man? A little bit of an unsung hero, right? Like Tyler Tanner's getting all the accolades and the headlines, and I want to get your parting thoughts on him in a second, but Devin McLaughlin led the game in rebounds, I
yeah,
believe, and so you want to play this awesome offense and this finesse. I don't know if finesse is necessarily the right word, but those usually like good offenses. You think of finesse. You need some grinders though, and you need some guys to do the dirty work. And I thought Devin McLaughlin in some moments in this game where like you needed to get down and dirty, he was able to do it.
yeah. I mean, he led the team in plus minus. He had plus 13, and that's just something that you need a guy like that. When you got a guy that is as smooth as Tyler Tanner, you need a guy that's rough. And McLaughlin was that tonight for them in the best way possible. 50 or 10 and 12. Are you kidding me? And luckily for him, he only had 4 fouls, which, normally it's like, oh, that's a lot of fouls. But like 2 of his teammates in the starting five fouled out, and him and 2 others had 4. So he stayed on the floor. He played 29 minutes. And I like I like your call out there with him because I thought he was fantastic. There were plays in the game that weren't did not show up in the stat sheet that I thought he was really good at with hustle plays. And look, that's a key glue guy for this Vanderbilt team as they continue SEC play because now all of a sudden they're in the driver's seat for the SEC to win the SEC. They just knocked off Alabama at home, and I don't have their schedule in front of me now, but it's a hell of a way to really start off SEC play, like early in the SEC play. You take care of Bama. Now it's next man up mentality with who you play, but I think Vanderbilt's in the driver's seat now.
Oh, honestly, it's actually kind of nice here for Vandy for a long way. I'm not going to lie to you, man. All right, so I'll rattle it off. They got LSU next. That'll be a win. Should be a win, right? Like we've been around college basketball enough where nonsense happens. LSU, Texas, sputtering. I'm pretty sure Sean Miller hates his team and his guys hate him. Florida. You want to match up the guard play? I'll take Vandy's Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles in that first half, right? Versus whatever Florida's putting out.
Yep.
Arkansas, that is going to be a major tilt. I don't know. But you know what? You drop one at Arkansas, no shame in that. Go to Mississippi State. That's a winnable game. At home against Kentucky, winnable. At Ole Miss, winnable. Oklahoma, Auburn, they're sputtering. Texas A&M, Missouri. And then, dude, by the time it's February 21st, that's when you got at home against your arch rival, the Vols, and it
That's
gets a little bit tougher. But
Yeah, but you said it. I mean, they have one real, like, obviously there's going to be other tests, don't get me wrong, but in terms of who has impressed us so far this season, it's Arkansas in the first, like, it seems like you rattled off 10 games there. So, yeah,
yeah,
I like I like their chances. I'm gonna have to see what their odds are to win the SEC because I'm sure they're the heavy favorite with what they just did and who they have to play upcoming.
yeah, I'm not necessarily concerned about Bama a ton. I do think they need to get healthy. Now,
For
we've seen a
sure.
lot of really talented and teams with high ceilings just really be bogged down by injuries because it's just this rotation of players, and they got a number of guys hurt, limping. Phylon obviously doesn't help. So I think the goal for Oates is to kind of just stay afloat, maybe stay ranked. Like I think his goal should just they're not going to drop terribly far after this particular game, but who knows what the personnel is going to be. If you can stay top 20 until you get like everyone back, I think you're in a good spot there for Bama.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've had four losses this year, and all four teams are basically top five in Ken Palm. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like you're 11-4, but you lost by six to Vanderbilt without your best player. Arizona, your boys took it to them. Gonzaga was a 10-point game, and then Purdue was a 7-point loss game three of the season. So you lost to Purdue and Gonzaga in November, which November you figure out your team. Arizona's a tough loss, but the Vanderbilt game you're without your best player on the road and you fought tooth and nail, they're going to be fine. It's just very funny. 11-4, four losses are against top six Ken Palm teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about the tough schedule, and if I'm a fan, you say, yeah, that's comforting to know, but also we're kind of used to Bama taking down top tier teams the past
Yeah.
couple of years, and I think health is going to be a major key for them moving forward. So we'll monitor that. J-Man, let's get out of here on this. We've seen. I really think. Keep me honest. Keep me honest. All right. I'm stumbling over my words, but keep me honest. The guard position, point guard, shooting guard, but mostly the point guard position in college basketball today, this season, is in such a healthy spot. A big reason for that is Tyler Tanner. Where do you
Oh,
put him, rank him
oh,
amongst some of the best point guards in the country, man? Because he's here.
he is, and this is an unfair question, Subi.
Yes, it is. I'm putting you on the spot.
I hate this spot because I mean, I love Darius Acuff. Acuff, for better or for worse, is my favorite point guard in college basketball. I am a fan of his, so I am going to put Acuff in front of him. And then after what I saw Kingston Flemings do last night, I got to put him in front of him because just he was awesome. But Tyler Tanner is definitely up there. I don't know who else I can think of right now off the top of my head, so I put him definitely top five. Maybe top four. I know I'm gonna keep one blank because there's somebody that I'm missing that I can't. Oh my God, Braden Smith. I mean, gee, so yeah,
And you know what? Maybe I should have specified it a little bit, like not necessarily newcomers, but
new
fresh
to the scene.
faces,
Yeah, new to the scene.
right? Like Acuff, Flemings, Tyler Tanner, right? These are newer guys, right? Like I think Braden Smith is obviously tremendous. I personally think Jaden Bradley is amazing. Taman Lipsey is amazing. But those three guys have been around the block, right?
Yeah, and I'll put Phylon up there just because
Sure.
he's made that big leap from freshman to sophomore year. So I would probably put obviously since Vanderbilt won, this is obviously me playing or being biased with Tyler Tanner, but I put him in front of Phylon for right now because of what he did tonight. But yeah, I mean he's up there. I'd say he's third behind the two guys I mentioned first, Acuff and Flemings, and then I'd probably go Tyler Tanner. No, I actually am going fourth. I'm
All
going
right.
Phylon third and Tyler Tanner fourth. But he's up there. He's up there. And look, you're top four for a reason for new face point guards in the country. And Vanderbilt is rolling.
It's a conversation for
Yeah.
sure. Encouraging stuff from both Bama and Vandy. Like we said, let's continue to monitor Bama's health moving forward. Vandy continuing to keep like do not be surprised if they rattle off some more. Go ahead.
I was gonna say as we close up shop, if you're watching this, Vandy fans or Alabama fans, you're really just forgetting so and so for this conversation. Subi and I are recording at like 1 a.m. after all these games, so my mind is blank right now. So
Oh, I thought you were going to say someone else that we
no, no,
forgot.
no. I'm just saying, I know people are going to think irrational of like my take there. It's like, hey, it's 1 a.m. after all these games. I'm thinking of Tyler Tanner and all the fouls that we just watched, but he's definitely up there. I'm going to put him fourth.
I'm good with that. I'm good with it.
Perfect.
Look,
As long as you're
I
good
don't.
with it, as long as you're good with it, it's all that matters to
Well,
me.
I'm just trying to think of like any other folks that thought that shoot Silas Demery, the biggest rabid fan base that will probably come for us, man. Yeah, Silas Demery, he had himself a hell of a night. Yeah, honestly, let's see. Oh, Bennett Sturts, dang.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep.
No,
I'm gonna die on this sword. I'm dying on this sword. I don't care.
I thought we did all right, J man.
On the fly, we did great. On the fly, great.
Vandy stays perfect though. We'll catch you next time. Thank you for tuning in. We will have more previews and recaps, especially in the SEC.